So there's been a little bit more information that has come out since I made the first video on Jonathan Taylor. And I haven't made videos the past couple of days just because I've been sick and I'm feeling mostly better, but still not fully. But I thought this would be the easiest way to make a video here instead of filming a normal video. But I want to sort of touch on one of the things that came out. I don't know. I think it was on, Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday afternoon. And that was the report from Josina Anderson that she said that the Dolphins and Packers were willing to make Jonathan Taylor among one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. And it's always hard with some of these reports, knowing whether or not it's fully true or if, some kind of source is leaking in a certain kind of information they want out. You never really know fully for sure. And let's just go with this is true and the Packers actually were willing to make Jonathan Taylor one of the highest paid backs in the league. That is very interesting because if you look at the Packers running back situation, obviously having Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon right now, and if we look to next season, 2024, even if we release Aaron Jones, according to overthecap.com, he'd have a $12 million dead cap hit. So if the Packers did trade for Jonathan Taylor and then they decided to pay him top running back money among some of the top running backs, which will probably be in the $13 to $16 million range, they'd have to pay Jones, even if they released him, $12 million in 2024. And so I honestly if that was true, I just don't know if that's a good idea, a wise idea for the Packers. Because sure, Jonathan Taylor, he's a great running back. He's clearly, one of the better running backs right now in the league. And he's not super old. He's like 24 years old. So you probably would have a good 3 to 4 years of top tier production, which obviously would be nice in Green Bay. I guess the question for me is, would it really be worth it to pay Jonathan Taylor? Because the Packers would have to trade away some kind of draft capital. I was reading something from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated where he asked AFC and NFC executives, and many of them seemed that Taylor would need to send probably a second, third, potentially fourth for Taylor. And maybe if the Packers, threw in a guy like A.J. Dillon, the draft pick would probably be lighter. But you have to factor in the fact that you have to pay Taylor a good amount of money. It's not like you're just getting him and not having to pay him, because if you didn't have to pay him much, he'd be worth a higher value draft pick. But I think the Packers would be better off just using a second or third rounder next season on a young running back who they see the potential to be that multifaceted back like an Aaron Jones, like a Jonathan Taylor, where you can catch the ball, where you can line up outside if you need to, like in the slot if you want to, use them in the backfield, just all over the field. Why don't the Packers just use a second or third round pick on a guy like that next season and, get 3 to 4 years on that rookie contract where you're getting production from a top tier talent player, a young guy, and you're not having to pay him a ton of money. And I mean, I've always been under the mindset the past couple of years that it's not wise to pay running backs a lot of money. I just think if you look at the Super Bowl winners over the past 10 years, most of them aren't paying him back a crazy amount of money. The Packers, though, do seem to be a team that does like to pay running backs. They decided to give Aaron Jones another contract a couple of years back, and so they clearly value the position. But personally, I just think that with the dead cap hit of Aaron Jones next year, paying Jonathan Taylor as well would put too much money in my mind at the running back position in Green Bay. I'd rather them use, a draft pick next year on a back, and, maybe next year you can, because Jones does have that $12 million dead cap hit per over the cap, maybe you can restructure his contract a little and get his $17 or $18 million cap hit down, potentially. And then, throw in a rookie draft pick there. Maybe you don't bring back A.J. Dillon, and then I think the Packers are more set in that way. And then hopefully the guy who the Packers draft could eventually become the lead back there in Green Bay. But who knows what's going on with all this? It seems like nothing's going to come of this, and we don't really know if the Packers were willing to pay him top-tier money. Maybe, maybe not. But I just don't think it's the best idea. But I'll be curious to hear your thoughts down below.